Alright guys, let's talk about burnout. Burnout is a psychological term for the experience of long-term emotional, mental, and physical exhaustion, accompanied by a diminished interest and motivation that affects job performance, health-related outcomes, and mental health issues. So burnout has 4 stages. The first is the honeymoon phase. This is when we have a job, maybe we got a promotion, or maybe we started a new position, and we're excited, we're really motivated. You have these new expectations, either that have been placed on you by your manager or you've placed on yourself, especially if you're a perfectionist. You start taking work home with you. You're looking for all the work you can get. You can't say no. You want to join all of the committees. You're accepting additional work, and you're just flying high. This is the honeymoon phase. Then reality begins to set in. So you begin to doubt yourself and doubt if you can meet all of the expectations that you've put on yourself or that have been placed on you. You may feel frustrated with your progress, and you may try to work even harder to get everything done. You may feel pulled in many different directions. You may not have a role model or someone to look up to or a manager that is supportive. And you may not have well-defined roles or established protocols and guidelines for your work. And the reality kind of starts setting in here. Then you go into the phase of dissatisfaction. You start losing enthusiasm. You try to escape your frustrations. You may start binging, whether on alcohol or food or shopping or whatever that may be. And ultimately fatigue and exhaustion sets in. And then following this dissatisfaction stage is the sad state. This is when you may become depressed, work seems pointless, you're lethargic with very little energy. You may even consider quitting, and you may look at yourself as a failure. And this stage represents full-blown burnout. And burnout can actually result in actual physical illnesses. You can have headaches, insomnia, allergies, cancer, indigestion, stomach ulcers, hypertension, blood clots, stroke, and immune system disorders. Sounded like a medicine side effects commercial. But burnout is real, guys, and some of these things can occur. Psychological disorders such as anxiety, depression, and alcohol and drug abuse are also very common to try and escape those frustrations, to try and deal with that burnout. But there is good news. We can avoid burnout, right? So it's important to say no. And I'm going to repeat that. It's important to say no. If you're overwhelmed, it's okay to say no and to not take on additional work. Something that a good manager I've heard of in nursing has said is that whenever they ask nurses to pick up additional shifts, they'll say, it's okay to tell me no, but we do need whatever shift picked up. But that gives the person an option, right? If you come at them and ask, hey, will you work this extra shift? We really need somebody. They often feel obligated, right? And nurses are helping people, meaning they like to help, right? And so they feel obligated often. They don't want to say no, but making sure that it's okay to say no to avoid burnout. If you have more work than you can realistically accomplish, you need to either prioritize it with their approval of someone above you, or delegate it if that's within your power to delegate it to someone else to help you get done. Again, this is within your authority, but even at lower levels of healthcare, it's okay to prioritize work. It's okay to delegate appropriately, of course, to make sure that everything gets done. Change your work-related environment by creating variations. So change your workspace if you need to help you get through that burnout. Evaluate your negative feelings you may have regarding your job and attempt to replace them with more positive thoughts. So something you can do here is on your drive to work, say 3 things out loud that are positive about your job. Like, I love my coworkers. I like to put a smile on my patients' faces. I enjoy when we get to have little birthday celebrations in the break room. Even small things like that. Just having some of those positive thoughts and verbalizing them is really important. Try to look on work as a fun experience and adventure. At Methodist, where I've worked, they have a kind of a meter of how you're feeling, and at the very bottom, it's not sad or dissatisfied. They just want you to stay curious, right? That's the bottom level, is as long as you're staying curious, they're okay with it. Obviously, they want you to work at your highest potential and to be the happiest and best employee that you can be, but at the very lowest, be curious. So ask questions and stay active in your work environment. But try and look at it as a fun experience. In healthcare, you never know what you're going to get. Every day is different, no matter where you work. Every patient is different. So try and see that as a fun adventure each and every day. And then establish some long and short-term realistic goals and write them down with a plan to make them happen. So let's say you're working as a medical assistant and maybe you haven't become certified yet. Maybe make that a goal, right? And that gives you something to work towards. And as you're studying, you can apply what you learn in practice, right? Right now, I'm looking into becoming a certified emergency nurse. And so that helps me be able to think through some things as I'm in my job working as an emergency nurse. And it gives me a goal, something to work towards and to avoid burnout. And then develop strong social support networks. So promote friendships with coworkers. Having someone to rely on at work is so important, but also with your family or religious group or other professional organizations even are great people to rely on and to share your struggles, your frustrations, and also your accomplishments. So those are some signs and symptoms of burnout and some special ways to avoid them in the workplace.